myself, I'm not just gonna stand here and wait. I wanna just decide what is to be my fate. Alone all by myself, I'm not just gonna stay here and wait.
Good morning, everybody. We're on the air again here on Really Cool News. We are broadcasting live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And it's been a day. We'll just say it's been a day. A very strange day, a very long day, a very hot day, as it's 89 degrees in north central Pennsylvania, and we really just want to go to bed, but we've got to record the week in review next after this. Yay! Because StreamYard is a bastard. I'll just say StreamYard is a bastard! Oh, that's raising my voice. I don't want to raise my voice too much, because StreamYard is a bastard, and that's all I'll say after our wonderful mishap this afternoon in trying to record week in review. And anywho, you can share in the horror as our first story goes into part of the past 24 hours. Again, I forgot to have the banner put up, so here's our banner. I'll say hi to Facebook Karen, and we'll get into the first story. Remember, tipping is not necessary, but it's not required, but if you want to keep me around, if you want to keep me sane, just do something. Anywho, here we go. GoFundMe tie finish for Friday. The GoFundMe title for Friday was split between our own ongoing expenses campaign and Jose Chile de Castro's legal aid fund, donation fund, help people fund, as both campaigns received $10 for the day. For once, instead of ranting about the conspiracy that keeps me writing this column, I'll just say thank you, as I feel I actually earned that honestly, as I had the dreaded double feature of a night that just killed my will to live. 2.5 hours of Regan Benson, followed by an hour of Carolina and Fort Worth. Even at 2x speed and doing notes in hyperspeed, the venom spewed by Regan Benson was enough to make a long and hot day into a living hell on earth. Maybe it's her attitude. Maybe it's her absolute war on humanity. Maybe it's the fact that she continues to get away with being the most horrible and miserable person on the planet, as she claims she's getting $130,000 in 2 separate settlements with the city of Denver, Colorado. But listening to her go into paranoid attacks about everything in the world, start fights where she couldn't care because some guy was catcalling her because he didn't want to be on video while he was having a nice night at a bar with his friends, and the daily $10 reminds me that, yeah, don't give up. Don't go insane. Don't let the devil of a human win. Oh God, I just used one of her lines. The purpose of the newspaper has always been, I report on it so you're not stuck watching it. Well, it was a demented Regan Benson last night, and she wouldn't stop talking. It was so negative and damaging that I can see how her particular vertical stream jump got her to 119 live viewers at one point, which was then whittled down to 50-something live viewers by the end of the broadcast. She started fights with those who came into her chat from the vertical stream boost and made it known that she had zero tolerance in her policy for dissent. If you question anything she was saying, you can just leave, because she only spoke the truth while everyone else spoke lies, and that was that. I went to bed late, was up early, and the thought of sitting through my notes to write anything this morning went out the window. I couldn't do it. I sat here staring at unrelated videos for an hour before giving up and going back to bed. It's 8:20 a.m. as I write this. I have 3 more articles to go, sadly one featuring Benson and the other Carolina, and all I want to do is run. Thank goodness somebody chipped in that $10 last night. It's the only thing keeping me from running away forever, or going back into the real world to find a real job. If you'd like to motivate me to get out of bed tomorrow morning and write the horrors that I'm sure that will be coming today for another issue of the paper, remember we do have various ways to tip, including our own GoFundMe campaign in the scroll below. Proceeds go to buying things to eat and drink, paying bills, and coping with sitting down with our own fears at 3:30 a.m. as we face the beast that is Regan Benson. Drop us a couple of bucks, please, to keep us motivated, or she wins. Oh God. She wins. Regan Benson claims victory over Denver. Regan Benson announced on her epic Friday night livestream that she was awaiting the final vote of the Denver City Council that would settle 2 lawsuits against the city of Denver and bring her a combined $130,000 payout from the city. The 2.5-hour livestream began with Benson at a Conoco station in Englewood, Colorado. She was outside of her car at the gas station and witnessing several Englewood police officers apprehending a man who was driving a vehicle without license plates. Benson had been in the area. She was seeking signatures for ballot items that would force Englewood to have open elections for its mayor, who is currently appointed by the city council, and a separate ballot measure to force Englewood to require a supermajority of the city council to pick replacement members whenever there's a vacancy to fill on the council. As the man was put in the back of a squad car, someone sitting outside of the original Moe's barbecue restaurant across the street from the gas station heckled her and told her to stop filming him. She exchanged hand gestures with him and screamed back that he should come over and perform oral sex on the police officers. The pleasantries continued as Benson half-watched the events at the gas station play out. A woman was allowed to come over to the police car and say a few things to the man in Spanish before police left and the woman refused to speak to Benson. Benson returned to her car and expressed her happiness that Englewood Police Chief Sam Watson was retiring. She then listed everyone she wished to leave with him, including his command staff, most of the Englewood Police Department, the guys on the city council she didn't like, and of course the librarians at the Englewood Public Library. In her new version of events surrounding the library banning, she had only been to the Englewood Public Library a few times, countering her previous claims that access was vital as it was a safe spot she used to meet with homeless people during her duties as a homeless activist. She downplayed the access issue, implying that if she lost access to it, it was because the horrible catty librarians were conspiring with Canadians to force her out. The rant continued and pulled in Frauditor Troll, the federal government, and how everyone thinks she's crazy and underestimates her ability to win lawsuits, which brought her to the settlement talks with Denver over 2 incidents that will cost taxpayers $130,000. She eventually revealed that there were no arrests involved in the incidents that led to the lawsuits against the city, and in what little she could share, she said that she was involved in a situation where the police chief of Denver apparently locked her out of a public online chat for being disruptive and aggressive during that chat. For that incident alone, she's apparently getting $100,000 in go-away money. Benson spent the rest of the live stream claiming that while Denver admits no wrongdoing, she personally takes a settlement as an admission of guilt and now has case law to use against Denver's chief of police as he retaliated against her First Amendment rights. She also claims that her attorney did not negotiate a non-disclosure agreement, so she is free to talk about the case as much as possible. Turning her attention to the Denver Police Department, she promised that further litigation was coming against the department for the 2 arrests from last year for filming in police buildings, and ultimately promised that she'd win, but nothing would change. She'd continue to get into altercations with new people, they'd learn not to mess with her, and she'd again profit from their misdeeds. Carolina and Fort Worth, a confusing mess continues. Carolina and Fort Worth continued her confusing mess of a channel on Thursday and Friday as she live-streamed from both downtown Fort Worth and the outskirts of Fort Worth in 2 messes of live streams that played the same in normal speed playback mode as in 2x speed. Thursday's longer live stream saw Carolina at the scene of an apparent domestic abuse situation in downtown Fort Worth. She marveled at all the police cars and wondered aloud what happened as she wandered wandered through the crime scene. Eventually, the police nicely asked her to stay put as the scene was horrific, and it really wasn't something to laugh about when she started to make light of the situation. Getting the hint, she walked away from the crime scene and returned to her car, a surprising act for an auditor, as she got what went down wasn't entertaining and was traumatic for everyone involved. She then went to the local hospital where she had been treated for injuries from the incident with Fort Worth police officer Matthew Kruger nearly 3 weeks ago. She was still seeking jewelry and her gimbal that went missing during the transport and decided to seek out a police officer to file a police report to force the police to investigate for her. After finding an officer, she was surprised that the officer took her statement, then immediately went back into the hospital to investigate. The officer took a bit of time and came back claiming that she went through patient belongings and lost and found and came back empty. The officer then gave Carolina an incident report and asked her to fill it out and return it so they could continue the investigation. This action surprised Carolina, who wasn't used to cooperation from the police, and she seemed depressed that someone took the time to help her with the quest to find her items. Her second live stream focused on an incident on the outskirts of Fort Worth the next day. Several police officers had surrounded an apparently homeless man as she watched at the start of the live stream as the police de-escalated the situation and let the man leave without incident. Carolina thanked the police, then caught up with the man. In her Carolina-ness, she didn't listen to the man's actual story before jumping to the conclusion that the police had just beat him, tasered him, stolen his phone, and then let him off with a warning instead of taking him to jail. In reality, the man had said he had 2 phones. One was hooked up to a service plan, and a second that could only be used via Wi-Fi until he got a plan for it. He either had just purchased it or recently purchased it and was sharing it with another homeless man. He got into an altercation with that man, who apparently took both phones. Police were called, and Carolina walked into the scene with the police taking his report after the fight with the other man. No one was tased during the incident, and the scratch marks on his neck and back were from the fight with the other man. Updating her injuries from her own physical altercation with Officer Kruger, Carolina continues to complain about ringing in her ears and that she claims looseness in the bones above one of her eyebrows. Otherwise, she continues to heal and had returned to auditing within a week of the incident. DeCastro bungles LVMPD lawsuit. Jose Chile DeCastro's July 4, 2024 address to his fans from the Clark County Detention Center in downtown Las Vegas, Nevada, focused on his pending appeal of his recent convictions and his hatred of the United States Supreme Court, making no mention of actions due in his lawsuit against the Las Vegas Metro Police Department. Perhaps distracted by his own pledge to file lawsuits against Justice of the Peace and Zimmerman for wrongful conviction, conspiracy to prevent his family and friends from attending court hearings, working with their court staff to deny his First Amendment right to film in the courtroom, and malicious prosecution by Zimmerman and the prosecutor in the case, DeCastro forgot a very real deadline in his case against the LVMPD. DeCastro sued the LVMPD last year after being arrested in Las Vegas for obstructing an officer and interfering in a traffic stop. He was seeking $5 million in the lawsuit, and it has meandered for the last year, with most of his accusations against the LVMPD dismissed with prejudice last fall. After a failed attempt to appeal the decision, DeCastro ignored the instructions of the judge and simply refiled all of his allegations against the LVMPD, including those that had been previously dismissed with prejudice. DeCastro turned his attention to other court cases and would eventually bring on Michael Mee, his then attorney handling his criminal case, as the attorney of record for his LVMPD case. Mee took over responsibility for the case, and DeCastro essentially lost the ability to file on his own, as now all of his filings would have to go through Mee. In March, DeCastro was convicted of the 3 charges he faced from the March 2023 incident and was immediately placed into custody. He apparently fired me for representing him in the criminal case and is appealing his conviction, with one of the reasons being ineffective counsel, as he claims me was horribly incompetent. Horrible attorney or not, Me is still representing him in the civil matter. On Friday, Me filed an emergency extension and begged the court for a deadline extension to Monday to file DeCastro's response to the LVMPD's motion for summary judgment in the case. It's unclear where things went wrong for DeCastro, as missing a deadline is not like him. With his Team DLZ, consisting of such superstars as BZ Watchdog, Glenn Serio, and Mike Eline, the top-notch talent has been monitoring the press who report on these motions and clearly could have checked his court listener page or pacer page for upcoming due dates in his lawsuit, including one that would possibly gain him $5 million if successful. It also puts DeCastro in the position of having to rely on counsel that he has previously legally deemed ineffective to file his response to the LVMPD summary judgment motion the same week as he's arguing that the same attorney is incompetent as part of his appeal in the criminal case. How this plays out next week will be interesting for all involved. DeCastro's appeal will be carried live on the Our Nevada Judges YouTube channel on Wednesday. Flashback, July 6, 2023, DeCastro hits 200,000 subscribers. Jose Maria Chili DeCastro accomplished something no other auditor has done in recent history, as his channel broke the 200,000 subscriber mark on Wednesday, marking a gain of over 150,000 subscribers since this daily newspaper started back in November of 2022. Controversy has always surrounded the figures, with initial growth in the late portion of 2022 seeing DeCastro's channel add between 200 and 300 new subscribers around the same observed time daily, without being reflective of new activity in his chat, watch time hours, or video views. As 2022 became 2023, DeCastro's 200 to 300 daily increases eventually led to 2,000 to 3,000 daily new subscribers, again in the same patterns, with little to no increase in video views, watch hours, or subscriber interaction. Accusations have always been thrown out that DeCastro buys subscribers, which DeCastro has vehemently denied, stating that he simply makes so little money off his channel and his merchandise sales that it wouldn't be economically feasible to buy subscribers. Yet the accusations only grow louder as he reaches every new milestone. DeCastro admitted that he was recently denied YouTube's prestigious Silver Play Button Award, usually given for passing 100,000 subscribers. A suspension of the channel back in November of 2022 could be responsible for that, as all channels applying for the award must pass strict rules, including no YouTube policy violations for the past year. His legal battle against YouTube's copyright system is going poorly, and DeCastro claims to be shadow banned by the platform. Google/YouTube has increasingly put pressure on the YouTuber in court by pointing out the deficits in his legal case. DeCastro has done himself no favors by using the same fair use system as what he's rallying against in court in order to enable him to feature works of others in his near-nightly live streams, where he explains the version of the truth surrounding each video. His recent barrage of copyright strikes against other creators, including dozens of total strikes against Team Skeptic, Irish Demon, and the Welsh News Network, have all been denied by YouTube, as DeCastro has declined to file the required federal or international lawsuits against each creator within the required deadlines. DeCastro apparently falling back on federal copyright lawsuits against the company as fulfilling the requirement. Some point out that DeCastro has had incredible success in repackaging his long-format videos into YouTube Shorts, gaining millions of views on a handful of minute-long videos. The short format's lack of focus on user feedback, accounting for the huge increases in subscribers, counts with those viewers carrying over into his long-format live stream and videos. Wednesday's live stream, yet another look at his perceived evils of the Supreme Court's Terry v. Ohio ruling, brought in 2,800 viewers in 7 hours since going live, with 87 comments and an observed peak live viewership of 234 viewers. The participants in chat remain the same observed handful of supporters and trolls that DeCastro always brings in, without fail, for such a huge channel. While DeCastro loves to state that he is one of the fastest-growing YouTube First Amendment auditing channels, achieving a pace of 50 or 60,000 new subscribers every month, questions continue to plague his channel as he reaches every new milestone. Are the subscribers real? If they are, why are they so quiet? Why does he pull so few of those new subscribers, 2,000 to 3,000 daily, to live events? Why does he struggle so badly with fundraisers? His current fundraiser for a wheelchair and eye reading module for a disabled subscriber sits at the same financial totals for over a week now, which is $15,000 left in a goal of $7,200. Wouldn't someone out of the estimated 21,000 new subscribers the channel's brought in the past week be able to help him achieve his noble goals? Those questions will more than likely remain unanswered as the channel is projected to hit 2,500,000 subscribers by the end of the month and continue a path to 1 million subscribers by the end of the year. Well, we were wrong about that. He didn't hit 1 million subscribers last year. He was really on the pace for it. It dropped off after July. I don't know, it just stopped. He was getting thousands. He was getting like 4,000 or 5,000 a day at one point through the end of July, and then it just stopped. It was like the money ran out or whatever, because he went through a long period of just not adding that many viewers or subscribers. He picked up again towards right around when he was going back to jail. He eventually did hit the 500,000 mark, but it took a while. I mean, he doubled in size in the next 6 months, but again, no million for the year, and no plaque, of course. Anyway, I'm out of here in a minute. We've got our own tomorrow morning we have the Week in Review, which I'm about to go tape since our earlier taping was a disaster. Thank you, StreamYard. Anyway, I hope to see you tomorrow, either tomorrow morning first thing or tomorrow morning for our newscast. A reminder that our all-star panel that was set for 8 o'clock tonight has been moved till tomorrow, as I'll be recording best of. Yeah, it's been one of those days. Anyway, hope to see you tomorrow, and stick around for the post-credit scenes. It's all about Pope Phil and his strange habits. Talk to you tomorrow.